Well done, thanks for that, Jono. And Nez, we're going to get to a break, but I was hearing some disturbing stuff out of the Crown Towers last night. I'm going to get Howie to get to the bottom of it. I heard Pietersen, I heard Warne, two of the great presences in world cricket, after hours especially. They were at the bar, and I heard they had company at the bar in the form of our man Ash Chua, the diminutive stats man, who was not only involved in the conversation, Skull, but having far too much to say in that company.
Nice crowd building out the Wacker, sun shining, and 28 degrees. JB alluded to Chua, and Kevin Pietersen's just walked into the box to just confirm a couple of things with Chu. We'll get to that story a little bit later, but KP is in deep discussions with the Chu-man as we speak. Not a statement I thought I would ever make. Steve Smith's on 92, Sean Marsh is on 7. Australia 3 for 203, and we're a little bit rattled, we're a little bit splintered, Isha and Skull, but we're looking forward to a good session.
Yeah, we are. What, talking about Chu or?
Well, I don't know.
Okay. Well, it looks like Jimmy Anderson is going to take the first over, so that's good news against Steve Smith. Steve Smith was on 40-odd when Jimmy bowled at him yesterday, so hence why Mitchell Johnson was a little bit surprised when he was speaking to us a little bit earlier. But yeah, it's a massive day for the Australian captain. He is world class.
He was unbelievable yesterday, Ish, but without dwelling on it, when Kevin Pietersen walks into a box and starts high-fiving Ash Chua and saying, "What about you last night?" you know something unusual was afoot, Skull. Something slightly went awry.
Didn't he go over to these young ladies and say, "Do you want to see something big?" And he pulled out his phone and showed them Perth Stadium.
There are rumours floating around about that, Skull. Stuff I'm really unsure about wading into. But when Warnie is dipping his lid to Ash Chua, things have gone bizarre. Anderson to Smith on 92 to get things underway, and he just chops it down on the leg side. Chu, give me a nice stat on Steve Smith before we get too far into this. You've got some incredible numbers. You've been up all night working. What have you got?
Howie? Basically, if he scores a ton today, Howie, will be his 22nd Test century. Now, that's only after 59 Test matches. If you look at some of the big guns, Viv Richards took him 93 Tests to rack up 22 centuries, Ponting at 88. Come back to you.
Remarkable numbers. It's not jinxing. He's on 92, and he turns it around the corner. So how many, for 22 Test hundreds, if he brings it up, how many Tests will he have played?
Yeah, only 59. So when you average it out between Richards, Ponting, Tendulkar, Lara, Steve Waugh, Jacques Callis, I should say, 96 Test matches it took them to record 22 Test centuries. Steve Smith only playing Test number 59.
Yeah, but Steve Smith doesn't feel he can walk with Ponting and Richards, unlike you, Chua.
Discovery Holiday Parks, Triple M rocks the Ashes. Stuart Broad with the ball in hand. 17 overs till a new ball is possible. Steve Smith's on 93. And what are the chances of that happening? 3 single numbers coming up in a row, Chewy?
Yeah, 1 in 37 chance, 3 times over. Break it down in terms of a percentage, 0.00197%.
Wow.
Wow. That's that's as close to your chances, Chua, of cutting KP and Warnie's grass.
True.
Unfortunately, Michael, our producer, only had $5 on it each time. But he walked away with a nice 1,000, as opposed to Gussie, who paid 1,000 for a pizza the night before. Listen, I didn't want to go down this dual path, but we've got to focus on the cricket. But I'm under pressure, and legals have said you can go with it. So I'll try and explain what happened throughout this over.
Normally, if they're alive, be careful. You can attack them if they're dead, and he will be dead if there's a confirmation.
Smith on 93. Ball, an expansive square drive on the offside. There's a man back at deep point, and Smith moves to 94, 3 for 205. Listen, Chua has got a beautiful wife. There's no thought of anything untoward happening last night, and if Mrs. Chua, you're listening, turn the radio off now. No, nothing untoward, but from what I'm told, 2 of the biggest in the jungle, Warne and Pietersen, were at the bar last night. Kevin also a beautiful wife, nothing untoward happening there, but Shane, a single man, was keeping an eye on a couple of girls over the other side of the bar and maybe waving and saying hello. And Chua was on the espresso martinis at that stage, which is always a concern for me, Kerry.
And and everybody. Espresso martinis.
They're fatal.
Marsh is on 7, facing Broad, and looking a lot more comfortable than Chua is in the back of the box at the moment.
Shaken, not stirred.
It's full, and Marsh works it through mid-wicket. Nice shot by the local. He's come back for a second, and he'll get another. So Marsh moves to 10, and the tally to 3 for 208. So after a couple of espresso martinis, and the boys were in discussion, including Chua, was in discussion with Warne and Pietersen, which is incredible on its own. And Warnie was eyeing these ladies off, and Chua said, I quote, "Boys, leave it to me." To Warne and Pietersen. I'll open the door for you, Shane. To the king. Smith on 94. And he prods away on the offside, to which point our man sidles down to these two ladies, unannounced, introduces himself as the premier statistician on the planet.
2 day, 2 night.
2 day, 2 night premiership statistician at North Melbourne. And I'm told the conversation was a little bit scratchy, so Chu went for some extra information, delved into his phone, and apparently was showing them videos of the new Perth Stadium to keep them entertained.
Oh, no.
This on 94.
Chua.
The end result, apparently the first time Warnie has missed out in a year and a half.
Howie, I thought that was going to be the trump card.
The Perth Stadium in all its glory.
Well, what did you say, Chewy, when you pulled out the phone?
Well, I reckon I covered off about 27 different topics in about 3 minutes. I thought, I'm scraping the barrel here. So, actually, no, I think they asked me, have you been to the Perth Stadium?
Did the cray pot move for them?
Smith's on 94, and he pushes away on the offside.
The best line of the day, though, guys, was our producer this morning.
Brad
McNamara. We were repeating the story, and Brad McNamara comes out with, it's like telling Bradman to stay at the non-strikers.
Leave this to me, Don.
I only became aware of this story this morning when Shane said, I haven't heard your statistician speak for 3 years. And he was in fine form last night as Smith pushes on the onside. That's the end of the over. Chewy's got to go and hang in with his mates, KP and Warnie. England have Australia 3 for 208 for Discovery Holiday Parks. Triple M rocks the Ashes. 3 for 208. Jump on Triple M Cricket on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook right now, and you'll see a photo of KP talking to Chua. Marsh is on 10. Kevin's a confident man, but he walked in here in awe.
He said, is he the Bangkok badminton champion? No. He does shuttlecock.
Chua, just to wind up, that's pretty much a true story, yeah?
For Nicotet stats, Howie, probably about 97% accurate.
None of you
He's
can
rattled
pronounce
our
your
man.
words.
Yeah, I am
You're all
rattled. Get the
rattled.
statistician.
Nicotet, titter.
He's rattled. Marsh on 10, facing Anderson, pushes straight back down the pitch. Well done, Chewy. It's a brave man to tell KP and Warnie, don't worry, boys, I've got this.
Yeah. And he's chewed up 10 minutes of Ash's test.
Text your wife, Chua, tell her she can turn the radio back on now.
Thanks, Howie.
Meanwhile, the Australian captain's
dear.
94 not.
Yep.
But Chew's been the story of the day.
Wow.
Marsh is 10. He's looked very composed last night, and he came in at a difficult time. The on drive to Moeen Ali. Looked confident last night.
He did.
Took his time to get off the mark. Smith on strike on 94. Facing Stuart Broad. He's defending. James Brayshaw just asking in the back of the box, do you get any of that on the ABC? Your statistician trying to tune. I'm looking to the left of me, the ABC statistician.
Oh, Howie.
A lovely man. I'm not sure he's been tuning for a good 35 years, though, Ish.
Leave him alone.
They've struck at aged care facilities, I believe. But
Now, this is your former employer.
yeah, I know. And I owe them everything. Don't worry. I love them. I respect them greatly.
They do a magnificent job. Smith, 94, not out. Bending, waiting for Broad. Very watchful this morning, the Australian captain.
3 for 221. Steve Smith 106 off 143 balls, 16 fours and 1 6, and has just played the most assured innings you'll see in a test match. Shaun Marsh on 11. In support of him, it's now Anderson from the Prindiville stand end bowling to the Australian captain. This time it comes off a thick outside edge to backward point for a single. The score keeps ticking along as Mitch Johnson's moved in. Adam Gilchrist is also with us. Welcome, gents.
Hey, Brett.
Hey.
Oh, I don't know if you're aware of what happened last night, Gilly. I'll probably have to bring you up to speed with the behaviour of our diminutive stats man, Ash Chua.
The Chu-man.
Yep.
What's he done?
Well, he was basically interrupting the work of Pietersen and Warnie at the bar.
Right.
Which is astounding in itself. As Shaun Marsh is facing Anderson and just driving to mid-on, and they take a quick single. Mo and Ali can't cut it off.
He's dealing in dangerous territory there.
So what happened, how he's gone through beautifully, but what I need to get my head around is what he was doing in that company in the first place. Your man's got to know his place.
I played 96 test matches with Shane Warne. I'm not sure I was ever invited to that sort of area at that sort of time of the evening.
No, we just had KP actually wandered in the back of the box and said, "Where's that tiny little stats bastard?" That's how we referred to the Chu-man.
Outstanding.
I know. 3 for 223.
Was anyone doing stats on the stats man last night?
I don't know. We need to get to the bottom of it. We need an inquisition. Driven by Steve Smith to mid-off, no run. What about the captain? That is as comfortable a test century as I reckon you'll ever see made. Works with him again. This is a short ball that he just eases around the corner.
He's just recoiling now. He sort of whipped it around there, didn't he? He tried to get funky with it.
I'm looking at the back of the box here, Gilly, and I can see the great SK Warne, and he wants a piece of Chua as well. He cannot believe that he and KP were even interrupted by him, let alone what happened afterwards. There are some times you've just got to know where to sit.
We're comparing Steve Smith to the great Sir Donald Bradman really regularly. I mean, talking of Bradman, of evening activities, we know the SK Warne is right up there, and the Chu-man, you've got to pick your company, mate. You've got to...
He embarrassed himself, basically. Chua, that's pretty much what he did. He embarrassed himself. As here comes Wokes bowling to Marsh. And it's passed through, no run.
I'm learning the hard way, Gilly, that's for sure.
Is Warnie, is he going to give us a little bit of commentary on the... I don't know. He's still been shaking away. He still can't believe it.
He can't believe
Unexplainable.
It. Yep. 3 for 234. Wokes. Final ball of the over, bowling to Shaun Marsh, who lets that pass through, and no run. Discovery Holiday Park. Triple M knocks the Ashes. Australia 3 for 234. Overton to come in and bowl again to Steve Smith. You don't, Gillian, Mitch, you don't stumble across the nickname the King for nothing.
No. You got to be pretty good at something.
In comes Overton to bowl to Steve Smith. And he's defending. That one just jumped up into the splice. And we've got the great man in the back of the room. We've discussed on air what Ash Chua was doing with you and KP last night. Warnie, can you paint any more of a picture for us?
Yeah, well, good morning, everybody. All I can say is I'm not sure what the Chu-man was actually doing with us. I don't know how we allowed him to actually sit with us, the Chu-man. But all I can say, he did teach me a couple of things I can do with my phone, because I'm generally pretty good on the phone.
Yes.
But I think now I'm going to start taking pictures of cricket grounds around the world. I think I've got new lines for the pickup.
Overton in.
It just seems to be struggling a little bit around 10 past, quarter past, whatever hour that is. That I could go to the phone and just say, look at this. I was at the lovely Wacker yesterday. And she could come back with a line of, wow. I wish I was there
Warnie,
to watch the grass grow.
Did he actually utter the sentence to you and KP, leave this to me? Overton in to Smith, who defends.
I think there might have been a rewrite of history right there. I think the Chu-man said something along the lines of, I've got this.
No!
I've got this. And I think as he walked past your wonderful producer, Brad McNamara, something would be like, hey, Slater, you stink, as he walked up. The Chu-man was looking like Hasselhoff as he walked over in the background.
In comes Overton again, and Smith defending, gets a single on the offside.
I was surprised the Chu-man didn't have the singlet on as well, a bit like Paul Collingwood just walking around.
Oh, mate, sun's out, guns out for Collie, isn't it?
That's it. Jesus, ginger nut like that too. Come on, Colin.
The Shermanator.
Oh,
The Shermanator.
Don't worry, the MBE was hanging around the singlet as well, just hanging off for his 10-7 and 1 test. Well played, Collie, you muppet. Right, on that note, I'm going for a kip.
Well done.
work.
Well done.
Chu-man, pull your head in.
Gold. Gold. As around the wicket now, Overton to Sean Marsh. A couple of slips and a pretty spread field. These boys are going to be chasing some leather if they don't make an impact with this second new ball.